All right. What's up, YouTube family? Steve Washington here checking in. So just wanted to reach out to you guys and share with you. A lot of people, I had on yesterday's episode, if you guys didn't have a chance to check it out, you should. I had a good buddy of mine, Dennis Mears. He's out of northwestern Pennsylvania, like up near Erie in Ohio, and the Ohio state line, I should say. And, he talked a lot about, he went from uh, at 40 years old, no properties at all, to owning over 100 properties, honestly, in a short amount of time. And so he shared his story, but he talked a lot about how he was able to buy a lot of properties at discounts. And I wanted to kind of go over that a little bit to just, be able to give us all some insight on how exactly he was able to do that. So in our business, we predominantly go after and market to people who we call motivated sellers, right? And so when I say motivated sellers, I'm just referring to people who are just having a situation where their property is a problem for them. And that may sound a little, some people, that may not sound like something that would make a lot of sense because you're in a business and interested in looking for a property, and to hear that somebody else is having a problem with their property and wants to get rid of it may sound a little unheard of, but I assure you, it's 100% true, happens every day, and when you strategically market to those people. And so I wrote down a small list. Let me grab it for you. Sorry for moving the camera around. I'm actually out and about tonight, but didn't want to forget about you guys. So some of the lists include people who are facing foreclosure, right? And I want to start here because I can remember having some people feel like, oh, is that predatory? Is that kind of going after people in a tough time or whatever? And to my response, I always say, this people in foreclosure. I have purchased people who have properties that they're actively losing to the bank, and in my experience, I do not find those people to be the people who we actually buy from. I do not find those people to be uninterested in our services, uninterested in us offering to purchase their property. Because what are the other options? And we always present the other options to them. They could sell it with a realtor. They could try to refinance the property. They could try and rent the property out. They can try and get a loan. They can try to partner with a family member. We literally present the other options to them because we understand that people just aren't dumb, right? And so people understand that selling a property to an investor at a discount, like they understand that when they sell a property to us, they are exchanging equity for speed and convenience, right? And the reality is that we do those same sort of things all the time. I'm actually right now in Washington, D.C. I am playing Uber driver for my kids who are at a concert. And, at that concert, I told them, I said, look, you guys want to make sure you have enough money to go in there because you're going to be buying waters that cost probably $6 and $7. And you're going to be buying, overpriced pizza and overpriced sandwiches and all the things, right? My kids and their friends, they are absolutely well aware that they could have bought a pizza from a local pizza place. They are well aware that they could have, drank water from the water fountain or drank water before they went there. But they understand that that's just how it goes. If you plan to enjoy that concert and deal with the convenience of just grabbing a water right there, grabbing a pizza right there, grabbing a drink right there, that's just the cost of doing business, if you will, right? And I say that to say, when we buy properties from motivated sellers, like it's not like they don't understand that realtors exist. It's not like they don't understand that getting a loan from a bank or something like that exists. It's not like they don't understand any of these things, right? They do. They overwhelmingly do. But they've chosen and made the decision that they would rather obtain the speed and convenience over getting top dollar for their property. And so I just wanted to kind of share that part. So some of the different people that we buy properties from are, again, I mentioned the people who may be facing foreclosure, buying properties from people who are delinquent and behind on their taxes, Oftentimes buying property from people who are what we call absentee owners or landlords, people who own a property in property A but live in somewhere else. Many times, a lot of landlords, at least who I've purchased from, are actually landlords who became landlords by accident, right? So they didn't actually want to be in the landlord business, but maybe they couldn't sell their house, and but they needed to move on, and so they just I'll start renting it, and then realizing like, wait, I'm not in the rental business, or maybe they inherited the property, or maybe they received a property through divorce, all sorts of different things. So the absentee owners, we purchased a lot of properties from those guys. Um, Vacant or abandoned properties, that's pretty obvious and pretty straightforward, right? Um, Inherited properties, we just talked about some. Divorce, job relocation, code violations, um, expired listings. Not every property that is listed with the realtor actually ends up selling. Some of those properties don't sell. Many of those properties don't sell, and they become what's called an expired listing, meaning the realtor couldn't get it sold. And so I say that to say, really, at the root of all of this is the people who we end up purchasing properties from are people who've made the conscious decision that they have a big enough of a problem or a situation where they're willing to trade convenience, willing to trade equity, or willing to trade selling their property at a discount for convenience, for a very simple, easy sale. We've purchased properties from people in as short as like 7 days, 10 days. I think probably about 4 or 5 days was probably our fastest. And just because of various situations. And so I say all that to say, but the key is actually finding those people who actually need our services, because the average person doesn't. Most people don't. But there are a unique set of property owners who are looking for our services. And just to kind of reiterate, and I'm only sharing this not to like justify myself, right? But just to give you some real life experience. Over last summer, beginning of last summer, I purchased 16 properties from one gentleman. He is was a landlord, still is a landlord. He still owns some properties, and he just decided he just wanted to be done with this 16 of his properties. He sold it to us at a nice discount, a number that we felt was fair for us. He felt was fair for him, and yeah, that was that. This gentleman, I'm sure, was very well off. His properties were in very solid condition. The tenants were paying tenants, and so sometime again in some of the other videos I've mentioned, there's these myths out there that like, oh, you guys are buying from old ladies and stealing from people, and all sorts of things like that. I was like, okay, look, you're welcome to believe that myth if you want, but the reality is, I've purchased, I don't know if I want to say the majority, but a significant amount of people who are, I'm sure, more financially well off than myself or whatever. And it's just because, people at different times of their life, different things going on, are looking for convenience over price. Like I said, I'm standing outside of Capital One Arena right now in DC, and I can rest assured that my net worth, I'm sure, just dropped by a couple dollars because my kids are in there spending money buying overpriced items that everybody's well aware of. I could have forced them and said, no, you got to eat beforehand. It's just we all do it in some way, some shape, some form, and it's all of our choices. I don't bring a gun to any of my negotiations or meetings with sellers. These guys willfully do it. We always bring out the elephant in the room. We all, in a form of discussing their other options that they have besides just working with us, and then it's up to them to figure out if it works or not. Everybody in this, in the world now, we all have access to the internet. We all have access. Everybody knows what Zillow is. Like, no, there's nobody who's like, what's Zillow? You can go on Zillow. You can see what the estimate is. That you can see what other properties have sold for or are for sale for at current. And so I said, I'd say the question becomes, well, why do people still in turn sell properties to us at a discount? And the answer just lies in people are looking for there's a small sect of people who are looking for speed and convenience. And It's our job to go out and find them. So hope this video gave you guys some insight. Feel free to drop a line in the comments. Ask any questions. Tell me what other topics you want me to discuss. Tell me what areas you want me to go deeper in. I will respond to your particular question. So I'll be on the lookout. Have a great night, guys.